Hello there, people of the internet. I'm currently living in a city and there's construction noise in the background. I do apologize for that. Hopefully it won't get too much in the way. This is a Steyr M95 carbine. I use that term very loosely because we're going to have a look at this, and it turns out this is not actually a carbine. Not a true carbine anyway. This is a fake carbine. Carbine, however it is you want to pronounce it. I'm sure somebody's going to go yell at me in the comments for that one. But this right here being a fake, it is definitely just a cut-down rifle that has been turned into a carbine for, well, whatever purposes it was that this right here was being utilized for. This is still chambered in the original 8x50 Steyr cartridge, and that is a unicorn of a round to find. I'm still currently working on a loading for that, so stand by on that, and hopefully I'll be able to get this rifle up and going well enough to be able to send some lead down range. So this isn't going to be a true unboxing video. That's just because I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me unbox this thing for 5 minutes straight. It came in a box, it was wrapped in bubble wrap, and it had this cardboard sleeve around it. That's pretty typical for the firearms where this right here came from. This is a rifle that came from Ethiopia, RTI, and that being said, it's not in the greatest of shape, but it's also not in that bad of shape considering, well, where it came from and some other pieces that have come out of that collection. So this right here is what we're looking at. Steyr's straight pull rifle. This is the M95 variant, meaning that it has a rotating front locking system as opposed to the flapper delayed system or flapper lock system that the 8890 system had, which is the rifle that predated this. This is a straight pull system, meaning that the bolt just pulls straight back and forth. And the first thing that I'm noticing is that this rifle is complete. We got safety, we got cocking piece, we got functional extractor, we got firing pin, we got magazine springs, we got everything that we need in here to my knowledge. That being said, there's a couple of things that are kind of jerry-rigged on this, and we will check that out in a moment. However, one big thing I am disappointed about with this rifle is that it is not functional. So close the rifle, pull the trigger, nothing happens. There's something going on inside of the trigger mechanism that prevents this rifle from sending lead downrange. So I'm going to have to get in there and see if I can figure that out. But, I mean, that's really not that much of a game changer for me. I am used to gunsmithing my rifles. It's just what I do. So this coming from Royal Tiger Imports, I dropped $149 on this, and I think that I definitely got my money's worth. I don't see any real cracks or any significant issues with the stock itself. We got our stacking swivel right there. We got one. Oh, we are missing a sling swivel on the back, so I guess the rifle's not complete. Got a butt pad. Got a couple of minor cracks here on the stock. That's about to be expected, considering this rifle is probably, I don't know, 120 or so years old, somewhere in that ballpark. Looks like the magazine, I don't see any dents or issues with that. They definitely wire wheeled this rifle, so that tells me that it was probably quite rusty. But even though they wire wheeled it, I'm not seeing any real significant damage on the stock. We actually have a slider on our sight that is really, really good to have. That will help me zero the rifle. First thing I'm noticing is that our screw here for our barrel band is not the right kind of screw. This right here looks like a wood screw that was just kind of put into the rifle to hold this in place. So that will work for now, but I'll look into replacing that. And our front barrel band, I don't see anything significantly wrong with it. These do look to be a little loose. The wood is definitely worn down. But, I mean, what do you want for a rifle that's over a century old and that has been through God knows how many hardships? Still have a little bit of bluing left on this thing, but not much at all. So I'm probably going to actually do a restoration on this particular rifle. It's not an original carbine. It's been cut down, so it doesn't really have much significant historical factor. I think I'd much rather see it cleaned up. Not only that, but it's not even functional. So, yeah, it's going to need some work. So this right here being a long rifle that was cut down, we can actually see our rear sight right here is an original long rifle length of rear sight. The carbine rear sight is probably about half the length or so. And this right here is just something that you find on the long rifles. So if you find yourself a short rifle that has this rear sight on it, then that's one that has been cut down. No S mark or anything on this. As a matter of fact, The receiver band has been completely worn down to the point to where I can't even see a manufacturer. I don't see a date mark or anything on this rifle. I see barely some serial numbers right there, but that is about it. On our front end, we can see a front sight that has just kind of been slid onto the rifle. Now, this front sight is actually loose. I can't move it with my hands, but I did notice that it was canted, so I took a hammer and I just kind of tapped it back to where it is straight, and that is the front sight that I have on this rifle. Stacking swivel, yeah, that's a little loose. The swivel itself is not, but the barrel band, the nose cap is definitely loose, and that's just because the wood is worn down. So all in all, for $149, I am not disappointed with this, only because me being a gunsmith, I can get this up and going no problem. Once I fix that trigger and figure out what's going on inside of there, I'm sure it's something stupid that I can fix pretty gosh darn easily. Once I figure out what's going on inside of there, I have absolutely no doubts that I could take this to a range and send some lead down range. We got a functioning extractor, we got functioning safety, we got functioning cocking piece, we got a functioning spring. I can feel the spring tension whenever I close the bolts. I don't think the firing pin is broken, but I could probably look in there right here and figure that out. Yep, I see the tip of the firing pin inside the firing pin hole, so that tells me that the firing pin is not broken. And the bore on this thing does not seem too bad. I have 8mm Mauser here. This is a 323 diameter projectile. I have not gauged this thing out or anything like that, but I do have another Steyr straight pull that is a 323 diameter bore, which I have slugged to, confirm that is the size of the bore. So let's go ahead and use this 8mm Mauser round to test this and see if the bore still has some life. Survey says, yeah, look at that. We actually still have some meat on that bullet, which means that we'll probably get some fairly decent accuracy downrange. And by fairly decent, I mean at least it probably won't keyhole. Now, it still might. You never know with these things. But probably won't keyhole. So this is what we're looking at. This is basically my Christmas present to myself. I wanted to get myself another restoration project, and these right here are a really, really good option to go to. I specifically went with the carbine because I figured the carbine was probably just going to be an Ethiopian cut-down long rifle, and that, is not its original configuration. So essentially, this right here is, I don't want to say sporterized because it's not really sporterized, but it's got the aspects of what a sporterized rifle is and does. So I'm not going to feel bad about taking this apart and cleaning it up and doing a restoration on it because it's not in its original configuration anyway. So if you guys want to stick around for that, subscribe to the channel. You're in the right place. That being said, thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys on the next episode. Okay, good news, bad news. I got the rifle apart, and it actually seems like it's in pretty gosh darn good shape, other than being repulsively disgusting. This is a grody, disgusting rifle. That being said, I haven't even done anything to the trigger mechanism. All I did was just kind of clean out all the crap and whatnot. And look, now she's functional. So I'm thinking that there's probably just some debris or something inside of there that was stopping this from really doing what it is that it's supposed to be doing. So I'm glad to see that, because these Steyr mechanisms are a little bit on the tricky side. There's like internal systems where like the trigger forward pulls the bolt out and the trigger back pulls the trigger. It's really quite the convoluted system. So I'm glad to say I don't actually have to really get in there and figure out what's broken on this. I'd much rather just get in there just to clean it. So yeah, it's definitely going to need a good cleaning, because this is horrendously bad. I'm probably just going to end up taking this to my sink and scrubbing it down to see what kind of debris I can get off of this thing. So that's likely what I'll do, and then I will probably grab some sandpaper and see what I can do to get some of this rust and funk off, because this is really, really, really bad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll probably make another video once I get all that done. There's a lot of really heavy pitting on this rifle. Yeah, I would be amazed if we got any real significant accuracy out of this thing. But we'll see where we go. Okay, I promise. I'm done with this episode now.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.